1304, San Francisco, 1906. The deadliest earthquake in American history has just leveled the city. 3,000 people are dead, 300,000 are homeless. Every bank is closed, their vaults buried under rubble. Looters are everywhere. But one man has a crazy idea. He loads all his bank's cash onto a fruit cart, hides it under vegetables, and wheels it through the burning streets to his brother-in-law's house. 4 days later, he reopens for business on a wooden plank outside that house and starts giving loans to people who can only sign with an X. His name is Amadeo Giannini, and the bank he saved would become Bank of America, the institution that financed the Golden Gate Bridge, Snow White, and Charlie Chaplin. This is the story of the banker who believed poor people deserved credit. The beginning. Amadeo Giannini was born in 1870 in San Francisco to Italian immigrants who had left poverty in Italy hoping for a better life on the West Coast. His childhood was comfortable. His parents built a successful fruit and vegetable business in the San Francisco area. But in 1877, tragedy struck. His father was shot dead in a personal dispute. 7-year-old Amadeo was left with his mother, who eventually remarried. He grew up helping run the family produce business. Eventually, he got tired of selling lettuce, onions, and garlic. So he made an unusual decision. He sold the company to his own employees. But here's the clever part. He let them pay it off gradually from their salaries at a price higher than market value. The result? 98% of those employees paid back even more than they owed, thanking Giannini for giving them the opportunity to own something. That experience taught him something about human nature that would define his entire career. The Bank of Italy. Working in San Francisco's banking world, Giannini noticed a problem. Italian immigrants couldn't get loans. Banks only lent to the wealthy, people who didn't really need the money in the first place. In 1904, lend to immigrants. He cut interest rates to 2%, half what other banks charged. And he focused on small loans under $200, roughly $6,000 to $7,000 in today's money. Other banks wouldn't bother with amounts that small. Too much paperwork, not enough profit. But Giannini, he saw opportunity where others saw waste. Here's the question everyone asked. How did he know who would pay him back? These were immigrants with no credit history, no assets, no guarantees. Giannini had a simple technique. After discussing what the loan was for, he had one final test. He asked to see their hands. He was looking for calluses. His logic was straightforward. Calluses meant you were a worker, and workers, he believed, were honest. They would pay back what they owed because they understood the value of hard work and keeping your word. It sounds almost naive, but here's the result. Over 92% of his loans were repaid. He had the lowest default rate of any bank in the city. Then came April 18, 1906. The San Francisco earthquake killed 3,000 people and left 300,000 homeless, 3/4 of the city's population. Buildings collapsed, fires spread, the city was in chaos. Every bank was shut down, vaults were buried. Looters roamed the streets, taking whatever they could find. Giannini faced a crisis. The bank's cash was sitting in a collapsed building, and there was no federal deposit insurance back then. If someone stole that money, his depositors would lose everything. So he called his former employees, the ones who had bought his fruit and vegetable company. They came with a produce cart. Giannini loaded the bank's cash underneath the fruits and vegetables, and they wheeled it through the ruined city to his brother-in-law's house. 4 days later, Bank of Italy became the only bank in San Francisco to reopen. Giannini set up a wooden plank outside the house and started giving loans, rebuilding San Francisco. Most of the people who needed loans couldn't read or write. They signed contracts with an X. They had no ID, no collateral, no documentation. Giannini gave them credit anyway. The city of San Francisco credits Giannini with financing its reconstruction. There's a statue of him at City Hall to this day. After 1906, his reputation spread beyond the Italian community. Immigrants from every background came to deposit money and take out loans. The bank grew rapidly, eventually acquiring the largest bank in California. Hollywood visionary. Giannini wasn't just a banker. He was an investor with unusual instincts. He went to Hollywood and financed a film that no one else would touch, a silent movie called The Kid, starring Charlie Chaplin. After Chaplin's success, Giannini backed Italian-American director Frank Capra, who made films about ordinary people's struggles in an era of glamour. Capra's masterpiece, It's a Wonderful Life, was produced with financing from Bank of Italy. But his biggest Hollywood bet was even riskier. Walt Disney wanted to make an animated feature film, an hour-and-a-half long. No one had ever done it. The project would cost 10 times more than a regular movie with famous actors. Every studio thought it was insane. Giannini financed Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The royalties from that single film earned Bank of America more than 5 years of their regular business profits. And Disney became the company we know today. The Great Depression. When the stock market crashed in 1929 and the Great Depression hit, banks across America collapsed. Bank of Italy survived. Why? Giannini had never lent money for stock speculation. He stuck to his philosophy: small loans to working people at low interest rates. In 1930, he renamed the bank. Bank of Italy became Bank of America because he believed poor Americans everywhere, not just Italian immigrants, deserved access to credit. By 1932, while other banks were bleeding, Bank of America was the largest bank in the United States, the Golden Gate Bridge. During the depths of the Depression, an ambitious project was proposed, a bridge spanning the Golden Gate Strait, connecting San Francisco to Marin County. No bank wanted to finance it. The economy was in ruins. The project seemed impossibly risky. Giannini lent $120 million in today's money at zero interest. Zero interest. In the middle of the worst economic crisis in American history, he believed San Francisco needed the bridge to recover, and he was willing to bet on the city that had made him. The money was repaid, and the Golden Gate Bridge stands today as one of the most recognizable structures on Earth. A philosophy of wealth. Giannini had a saying: if you have more than $500,000, you need to see a psychiatrist. Something is wrong with you. That $500,000 in his era equals roughly $10 million today. When Giannini died in 1949, his total wealth was $467,000. He had kept his own rule. Throughout his life, he invested heavily in education and culture. He gave $1 million to UC Berkeley for agricultural research. He supported Stanford University. He backed films and filmmakers. When he retired from the bank's leadership in 1945, he left every drawer in his office open, account statements visible, so anyone could see exactly how he had spent every dollar, personal and professional. He had nothing to hide. So here's what Amadeo Giannini teaches us. 1. The people everyone else ignores might be your best customers. While other banks chase the wealthy, Giannini built an empire on immigrants and workers. 2. Simple tests can beat sophisticated systems. Calluses on someone's hands told Giannini more than any credit report. 3. Crisis creates opportunity. The 1906 earthquake destroyed San Francisco, but it made Giannini's reputation. He showed up when no one else would. 4. Bet on builders. Giannini backed Charlie Chaplin, Frank Capra, and Walt Disney when no one else believed in their visions. Snow White alone made more money than years of traditional banking. 5. Know your limit. Giannini believed no one needed more than $500,000, and he died with less. He could have been a billionaire. He chose not to be. The Bank of the Poor became the second largest bank in America. Whether it still serves the people Giannini cared about is another question. But his legacy proves something important. Sometimes the best business strategy is simply believing in people that everyone else has written off.